Seventh grade math. I'll be your host again, Mr. Hall. So welcome to my classroom. So in our previous lesson, my dear sweet loved ones, we have went over the perimeter of polygons, but one thing we haven't really discussed is that of the cycle. So that's kind of where we're going to dive right into. If you would, turn to page 358, and let's get started. We're going to talk about circles and circumferences. Alright, so go ahead and read a couple definitions here, just so you can get a feel for it. It says a circle consists of all points on a plane. So that's just talking about like if you have a plane right here, and you have points, 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 points. Those are going to be on the plane. And your so a radius. Let me draw the radius. A radius only takes up what? You guys remember? Half. That's a radius. Okay, now let's look at a chord. A chord goes across a circle, but it doesn't go halfway through it. So if you have 2 points here, this would be a chord. Alright, diameter, if you will. Diameter does what? It cuts it in half. Alright, now if we're looking at an arc is like if you have an angle, like a triangle inside of a circle. And when I say a triangle inside of a circle, it's to say we got our diameter coming, we got a radius. This would be your arc. Alright, and when I talk about a central angle, okay, a central angle is the angle that the radius, the diameter, and the arc make up right here. That would be your central angle, and I'll put CA for central angle. So we got arc, central angle, radius, diameter, and I'll even draw another one so you can and bring the chord into. Alright, with that being said, friends, let's jump in and go for a swim. What say you? Alright. If we take a look on 359, example 1, it says, if a circle has a diameter of 14, well, what is the length of its radius? Well, let's draw us a circle here. It says the diameter is 14, that means it goes all the way across. A radius is half a diameter. Alright, so that means it's everything here back. So what's half of 14? Well, you can do 14 divided by 2, and it gives you what? 7. So your radius equals 7. Alright, so let's look at skill check 1. I want you guys, and we'll identify these together. Alright? It says use circle to identify each term. Where's the center? Alright, so let me just go ahead and try drawing a circle. I'm going to try to make it look like theirs. Alright, so it says let's identify the center. Well, the center is going to be right here at G. 2 radii, of these 2 radiuses, if you will. And the way you can read this, there's going to be several different answers. You can say radius HG and GI, or IG, or GH. Or you can say GL. Again, there's several you can call them. Alright, so tell me the diameter. Well, the diameter is going to be from H all the way to I. So H to I will be our diameter. 2 arcs. Well, we have an arc right here, and we have an arc right here. 2 central angles. 1 right here, and 1 right here. Okay? So there, I just kind of give you a little glance of what your homework and stuff is going to look like. So this is also going to be quite a short lesson, but I want to keep moving forward. I'm hoping to get enough done, that way you can get your test going next week. I know you're super excited about the test. Alright, so we're going to talk about pie, and I'm not talking about the kind you eat. I had to make that dad joke. I thought that was just what I'm supposed to do. But we're talking about the pie Mr. 3.14 that everyone's often so familiar with. Alright, so go ahead and look if you will. It says approximating pi, so two ways. Pi equals 3.14 or pi equals 22 over 7 for when you roughly divide it into there. It also equals 3.14. Alright, so example 2 is going to talk about using, we're bringing pi, it says find the circumference, use 3.14 for pi. Alright, so circumference, and you need to remember your formula, equals pi times diameter. Alright, so let's look, the diameter is 9 and it said use what number? 3.14. So we're going to take 9 times 3.14, and when we multiply these two things together, it gives us 28.26 meters. Alright, and that is for circumference. Alright, now let's just say you're given one that has just a radius. Okay, so let's move on. If we have a radius, it says that we're going to have, and this only goes to 3.5. Can you use pi times diameter? You could if you wanted to add that together, which would give you 7 for the whole thing. Or you can do the circumference for the radius, which is going to be C equals 2 pi r. Alright, so if we want to, we're going to take 2 times 3.14 times 3.5. And when I multiply each one of those numbers together, that will give me 22 inches. So again, I chose this one because it's for the radius, and we had a radius instead of a diameter this time. So if we'd had full diameter, the whole thing would have been right here, and that would have been 7. So then I could have just did what? I could have did 7 times 3.14, and guess what? If you multiply that together, you know what it gives you? 22 inches. Rounding up. Oh. Alright. So, let's try one skill check together while we're doing so awesome right now. Alright, so the circumference of each circle says use 3.14. It says for number 1 that we have a diameter. That equals 7. Well, how do we figure that again? We take 7 times 3.14. How convenient. We just did that a second ago. And it roughly comes to 21.98. Or you can round it up to 22. That'll be just fine. Alright, let's look at, let's see, let's do 3. It says diameter equals 16.5. Well, we take 16.5 and do what? 16.5 times 3.14. Let's see what we get. 16.5 times 3.14. 51 times, so we got 51.81. And that will be in millimeters. Alright, my friends. With that being said, we have completed that upon learning of circles. Feel free to go back, practice any of this. And I do have your homework for the first portion of circles. It's going to be on 277. And by 277, just kidding. I meant it is going to be on page 361. And it is going to be 1 through 20 all. So again, go back and revisit some of the formulas. Make sure that you these are things that they're never going to go away. Just because you learned them in 7th grade, you will still be using them all through high school into college. So it's good just to have these, you know, like really, really quick where you can memorize them. Because remember when I talked about knowing fractions, like if you say, what's 0.33 repeating as a fraction? That's 1/3. What is 0.6666666 repeating as a fraction? Is 2/3. 0.9999999 is 3/3, which, you know, translates to a whole. But just things like that really going to help you throughout your math career, just being able to memorize those things really fast. So again, my dear friends, if you have any questions, please, please, please feel free to call, text, and I'll make sure that you guys get the help you need, and I will be talking to you guys. Miss you all, and talk to you soon.